The Mermaid Legacy by Sims 4 Lizzie UK. Gen 0, Chapter 4. It didn't feel like very long at all until it was Kailani's 7th birthday party. Maleko and Ilana couldn't believe how fast their little girl was growing up. It felt like she'd only just been born. They remembered welcoming her into the world, their little girl, and Leilani had stayed at home looking after Kailani while Maleko took Ilana to the hospital. It had taken quite a while and wasn't an easy birth, but they'd been so happy when their baby girl had arrived. Kailani had been so excited to meet his little sister when they brought her home as well. 7 years ago, wow. They decided to have a birthday party for Kailani and they hoped she would enjoy it. They didn't really know many children Kailani's age and didn't think there was any point introducing her to anyone new on her birthday just for the sake of it. So they just had a relatively small celebration and invited the neighbours. Kailani would be able to make her own friends when she started school soon anyway. Leilani spent a little while at the party, chatting to one of the neighbours, Liliana Kealoha, and near the end, she felt like she'd made a new friend. She really felt ready to get out there a bit more and make some more friends, maybe even start looking for love. It was probably a good idea for her to get out more, seeing as she hadn't been out much since she and Maleko had lost their parents. Once the cake had cooled enough and Kailani was dressed and ready for the party, she came into the living room with Ilana to blow out her candles. She wasn't quite tall enough to reach the table, so Ilana lifted her up to candle height, smiling, and encouraged her, "Make a wish, sweetie." Beaming, Kailani blew out her candles, giggling as her mother set her down. Everyone sang happy birthday, and then Kailani looked at Ilana with bright eyes and asked her, "Can we have cake now?" Ilana laughed. "Yes, I think it is time for cake. Let me get a knife and we can cut it." As everyone enjoyed slices of Ilana's homemade coconut cake, there was a lot of smiling and laughing around. While Ilana went to fetch the knife, Kailani fiddled with her hair, putting it up above her head and out of the way before taking a seat at the table next to Kailani. "Happy birthday, Kai," he congratulated her. "Are you excited to start school?" She nodded, her enthusiasm apparent in her expression. "Yeah. I'm a bit nervous as well, though. You'll be there if I need you, right?" He looked at her for a moment as if she were daft. "Kai, I'll always be there if you need me. You know that. I'm your big brother." "Thanks, Kailani." Smiling at her brother, she turned her attention back to the plate of cake in front of her and grinned. This is good cake. I need to learn to make it." "Why? Mum can do it." Kailani laughed. "You're silly, Kailani. Cooking looks like fun. You have to learn sometime." "Yeah, I suppose." As the party went on, Kailani and Kailani got a little bored of the adults and their idle chatter, so they made their way into the corridor and sat down at Maleko's chess table. "Do you even know how to play?" Kailani asked, and Kailani nodded. "I think so. Dad explained it to me." "Do you know?" He blushed a little sheepishly, and Kailani snorted. "Okay, I can explain as we go along." Kailani was quite impressed at how well Kailani explained the game. From what he knew of it, he wasn't sure she had it 100% right, but she spoke with confidence, and it seemed like she was at least fairly close to the rules. Her version was fun, anyway, and the Costa children had a nice time playing chess together while their parents and Auntie Leilani talked to the neighbours. One of the presents Kailani had got for her birthday was an arts and crafts table from her parents, so after she finished playing with Kailani and retreated to her room, she got out her crayons and some paper and started drawing. It seemed like fun, and she started drawing a king and a queen, carefully colouring in her illustrations. Maybe art wouldn't be her best subject, but she could still give it a shot. There'd be so many new things to do at school, and Kailani was really excited to get into them. She wondered if cooking would be an option. She hoped so. At the end of the day, she sat down to watch some telly with her mum, who switched on the kids' channel to someone in a blue dress dancing around and singing about space fairies. "Has this been a nice birthday for you?" Ilana asked her daughter, and Kailani nodded. "Yeah, it has. Thanks, Mum." "Mum, is school hard?" "It depends on the person, I think," Ilana responded thoughtfully and carefully. "I think you'll do absolutely fine, Kailani. Your brother will be there with you as well. I'm proud of you, you know." "Thanks, Mum." With a soft sort of smile, Ilana pulled her daughter closer and gently kissed the top of her head, keeping her in a firm hug that she hoped would be of some comfort if Kailani had any worries. By the time she went to bed, Kailani was feeling much better and excited once again for school the following day. After seeing the kids off to school the next morning, Maleko went out for a swim round the back of the house. He had a day off work and was glad of it, seeing it was Kailani's first day of school, and he wanted to be there to wish her luck before she left. So, both kids in school now. Leilani grinned as she came to float next to Maleko, and he stopped swimming to talk to her. Feeling old yet? She teased. A little, Maleko admitted. They're growing up fast. Relax, we're still young. I haven't even found a lasting girlfriend yet, never mind being married with kids. Maleko laughed. You'll get there. Besides, if you end up not having kids, you can always share mine and Iolana's. Leilani smiled fondly, feeling that this wasn't particularly a joke. I love your kids. They're both such good kids. I'm proud to be their aunt. Oh, you know they both love you too. You're a great auntie, Leilani. It's nice having you around. Yeah. Well, thanks for keeping me around. You know I'd go insane living by myself. Maleko laughed again, imagining Leilani living alone. I do know that. You'll always be welcome here, though, so there's no need for that. Why don't we do something as a family tonight to celebrate Kailani's first day of school? It would be fun to have a beach barbecue or something. Oh, that sounds fun. Yeah, let's do that. I'll check with Iolana, but I think she'd like that too. I'll see you later, Lani. Bye, Leko. With a splash, Maleko disappeared off into the water to enjoy the rest of his swim, before heading inside to ask Iolana about his and Leilani's beach barbecue idea. Of course, Iolana thought it was a wonderful idea and would be a nice surprise for the kids. When Keone and Kailani came home, they played on the swings for a bit together. Kailani was happy with how our first day had gone, and had just finished telling Keone about it as they walked home from school. Keone had also managed to get most of his homework done over lunchtime, so he was in a pretty good mood as well. While the kids played on the swings, Maleko, Iolana and Leilani made a start on cooking the food in their fire pit. They made some kalawa pork and pineapple, and before long the smells of cooking meat were just drifting across the beach. Leilani went to stand with Iolana while they were keeping an eye on the meat, and they just chatted about life and how things were going. And once the food was ready, they called over the children and everyone sat down to eat. Of course, it was a chance to find out about Kailani's first day of school, which Iolana immediately asked about when they sat down. But it was also a chance to sit down as a family in the fresh island air and share a meal and good conversation together. Keone's friend Tana came round a little later in the evening to see if Keone wanted to hang out, so the Costas ended up inviting him to come and join them to share their meal. The food was delicious, and a little family time was something that all of them felt they needed and could never have too much of. For any passerby, they'd just hear the distant waves and the sound of laughter carrying on the wind, and for the Costas, it was just a really lovely evening. Thanks for joining me for the latest episode of the Mermaid Legacy. Sorry I tripped over my words a bit today. I'm very tired and I could not be bothered to re-record it again. But yeah, I think it was good, Kailani's birthday party. I'm excited to kind of get into showing you her story as a child a bit more. And yeah, she and Keone are more kind of even now. So they can do much more, hang out more, spend more time as siblings, kind of doing stuff. And yeah, I'm excited to carry on showing you the story. I think over the next few episodes we're going to be focusing a bit more on Keone. But yeah, I'm glad to be back. Sorry it took so long, and I will see you next week. Thank you, and have a nice